Now, what we're going to do is to talk about what is brokenness. And we talked about it last week, of course, but let's get into it a little further. I believe that when God, you notice he used a little child about the kingdom of heaven many times. Many times when people asked him about the kingdom of heaven, he would mention a little child. And you know, if I had a little child in here today, we would demonstrate something about this. Maybe we'll wait till next Sunday. But let's turn in our Bibles to Matthew chapter 18, verse 1 through 4. And I want you to listen to how, if you're not broken, you could not get what's been promised to you. You must say, come on, preacher. If it's promised to me, I'm going to get it. Not according to Hebrews chapter 4. Hebrews chapter 4 says, let us fear lest a promise promised you come short of believing it. Receiving it. So we don't want to miss nothing, do we? No, I know I don't. Everything God, I'll tell you the truth, I believe I have about everything God ever gave me. I would like to have perfect health even at 76 years old. I still would like to have absolute perfect health, but I guess you can't have everything. But I'll tell you one thing, I'm one happy camper. You hear me? God has blessed me because I have humbled myself. I have laid the old man down. I don't get excited and upset. Well, I get excited, but I don't hurt nobody or talk about nobody or put nobody down any longer. As Sister McCain can say, it's time to man up. Let's get it right. Man this thing up. You ain't gonna do right. Get out. The first through the fourth verse in Matthew 18, what does it say?
At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?
All right, now let's listen to, our messages is only about 40 minutes, so you have to catch everything you can. So when you go home, you got a whole week to think about this thing. And of course, there won't be no message at 11 o'clock. We're going to do our play today. Amen. So read that again.
At the same time came the disciples unto Jesus, saying, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? Verse 2.
Listen carefully.
And Jesus called a little child unto him.
What did they ask Jesus? Okay, when we're talking about the kingdom, are we talking about the heavens where God's throne is? No. What kingdom are we talking about? One right here, and the one that's within you. Because the Bible says the kingdom of heaven is within you, and it's without observation. So trying to see it, you'll miss it. But it is there. But do you live in it? They asked Jesus, the disciple, who is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven? And what did Jesus say, do, bro?
And Jesus called a little child unto him.
My Lord.
And set him in the midst of them. Verse 3.
Listen carefully.
And said, verily I say unto you,
all right,
except ye be converted and become as little children.
Let's say, you better read that again.
Except ye be converted.
Converted.
And become as little children.
Is God telling you to try to get back into your mother's womb? No. Is he trying to tell you you need to have the mind, I don't want to say that you need to be 5 years old again? No. But let's read it and let's see what he say then. Do it again.
And said, verily I say unto you, except ye be converted.
Converted. Okay. That's Southeast talking to everybody. Except you be converted.
And become as little children.
Yes.
Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
Brother Sam, how big do you want to be? Brother Scott, So you still want to be a big man? Deacon Jones, you still want to be your own boss? Pastor Swinney, you still want to have control? Not according to the Bible. I want him to take over. I want to be just like what he now. Now, when God say, except you be converted, and what, brother? What's the next word? Except
and become.
And be what?
Come.
And what?
And become.
And become. Read.
As little children.
What then?
Ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
I wonder why God wants grown people to act like little children. I'll tell you why. Little children don't hold grudges. Little children can get into a little fight, and 5 minutes later, what are they doing? Playing together, forgotten all about it. Now look at this. If I had a little child and their parents was in here right now, I'll tell that little child to stand right here and tell the child's daddy to come down there, and then another 5-year-old standing there. And I would tell the little girl or the little boy to leap into the 5-year-old's heart. That child, even at 5 years old, gonna say, what? I don't think I want to do that. But if I tell that child to leap into its father's arms, there wouldn't be no hesitation. You see, the mind says, my daddy gonna catch me. I don't know about this devil over here. I don't know about this facts over here. But I know my daddy would catch me. That's what you gotta be like. When trials, tribulation, and hell break out in your life, you need to not try to sanctify that yourself. You need to turn that thing exclusively over to God, because God will catch you. If you don't believe God will catch you, ask Peter. When he was trying to walk on some water. But what happened when he took his eyes off God? He started to sink. Good gosh almighty. If we get a hold of this in its right perspectives, you see, because we are so grown up until we don't want to think of someone thinking of us with the mind of a little child. We are not talking about the corporate world. We're not talking about your marriage per se. We're not talking about the thing that you're trying to build to get your life. We're talking about what kind of thing? Spiritual things. You need to become totally child-oriented. That way, when a child is hungry at night, what did that child do? Do he get up and go and shake mama? I'm talking about a little infant. He start crying, because crying will bring home the father or the mother. And we're going to take you to the scripture in a few minutes to show you what crying out to God does. See, when you really believe that God is your God, then he has become your Lord. That is when your mind is not so in depth on doing it all yourself. That's when life gets hard, saints. It's when you're trying to do it all yourself. And here's God begging us to cast all of our cares over on him, because he cares for us. Except that
be converted and become as little children.
Except that you be converted and become as little children,
ye shall not enter into the kingdom of heaven.
In other words, saints, he didn't say you couldn't go to heaven where you're going to rest for eternity. Amen? But you won't have that heavenly experience on earth. Everything will be some portion of some form of a nightmare. It'll hurt all the time. Something is always pushing you. You can't sleep at night because you won't let God have everything. You've got to let him. A little child or infant just barely ready to walk, don't try to open the refrigerator. He calls mama, he start hollering, call daddy. And that's what God wants you to do, is to have the mind of a little child. Somebody upset your little corner that you live in. Forgive them. Pray for them. Love them. Do what God told you to do. Because if you don't, well, wait a minute, no, let me change that. Because if you don't convert into the mind style of a little child, you will not forgive people in the time frame that you should.